Hello, and welcome to Season 2 of Marriage in Real Life with your hosts, Eric and Patsy Richards. Marriage in Real Life is a podcast about two imperfect people with an imperfect marriage. This podcast aims to help listeners to know that God, who is perfect, can use your imperfections and your imperfect marriage to help others. So let's laugh and learn. I hope you enjoy the episode. Let's get straight into it.
Welcome to Marriage in Real Life.
Welcome.
Yes.
Hey, y'all.
Hey. All right. I'm so excited. I'm so glad to be here tonight. Are you glad, baby?
I am. I'm always happy to be back with Marriage in Real Life.
Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah.
I turned it down.
You just got to turn it off, not just down. All right.
Well, I mean, how I'm a read,
You turn the volume down. You don't turn the whole thing down. You just turn the volume down. All right. So hey. All right. Well, we're glad to be back. As we endeavor on this marriage in real life, right?
Yes.
So we're glad. So as we always start out, what's been happening the last 2 weeks. We see Rob. All right. Hey, Rob. Hey, how you doing?
Lindsay.
All right. Lindsay. All right. Hey, Lindsay. How you doing? Made sure I got that name right, didn't you?
Yeah, make
okay.
sure. Lindsay, he old, so
Hey, I'll be 57 next month.
Yes.
57. I got to give a clap for that. All right. So last 2 weeks, man, what's been happening? Well, we did Thanksgiving.
We did Thanksgiving. We had all the kids.
Yeah, we had all the kids there. Grandkids was there.
Yeah, it was great.
It was great. I mean, when was the last time that ever happened? We was only missing one.
Mm-hmm.
That was she had to work before and after. But man, when was that? I don't think that never happened, did it?
I think this is the first time
It's
we've
the
had
first time.
everybody in one place at the same time.
Right.
That was fun.
It was real fun, man. I'm telling you. It was real fun. And so just to have, you enjoyed and cooked.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, I did a little hand in there.
Yeah.
I did a little hand with the pies and the ham a little
You
bit.
did,
Yeah,
man. I'm so proud of you. You did. You helped out with the pies, and they were great.
They were great, and they still great too. All right, yeah, Jordan's food was good and everything. So yeah, it was good. Daughter came down from Tallahassee, Chicago.
Yeah.
That's what Pastor Wells called her. Pastor Wells called her Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
said,
now you call the other one Tallahassee. He said Chicago and Tallahassee came down. I said, yeah, they came down. I said, okay. yeah. So that was good. We went to a comedy show.
Yeah.
Oh
man. Comedy show. A lot of here performing art.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Great.
That was
It
one
was
of good.
great.
We haven't had a good date night in a long time, and that was good. So hey, to all the couples out there, you want to make sure that you have a date night.
Have a date night.
Gotta have a date night, all right? And so, but we've been watching movies together and things like that, but we really haven't been going out like that, and that was good. That was good. Nice outing. We laughed so hard till I told her, dude, you gotta stop because you're killing me, man. It was so much fun. It was so much fun. Unfortunately, the next day we had to go to a funeral.
Yeah.
Oldest daughter's granddad, 90 years old, passed away, and unfortunately we had that. But the thing about that, what a lot of people, and I didn't realize it, but they had been married 70 years.
Wow.
Can I say that again?
Say it again.
70 years, 70. That is a long time.
That's a very long time.
That is a long time. So there's wisdom in that marriage. They had the ups and the downs. 30 years, it would have been 100 years. Just think about that.
Oh, wow.
30 years, it would have been 100 years that they would have been married. They had to been 100 or something. But just think about that. They was almost at, it was past a quarter of a century, with 3/4 of a century, man. It was almost there.
Almost there.
Almost there. 70
Can you
years.
imagine just to live your life day in and day out with somebody for 70 years?
Wow.
I'm pretty sure it was a lot of stories. And like you say, a lot of wisdom
A
there.
lot of wisdom.
You
So
know,
that
a lot
brings,
of forgiveness.
oh
A
man.
lot of saying, okay.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'm going to let this one slide or to, agree to disagree on
Right,
things.
right,
and,
right.
You know, and still have that love. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
that's something to strive for.
Yeah, that is. I give a shout out to the Raleighs.
Yeah.
70 years. Got to give
absolutely.
a shout out to them. Hey, man. So that brings us to almost this topic, because of 70 years, they had wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
in that. And so they could advise a lot of couples of the ins and the outs. You'll sit down there and they start telling your stories. You just sit down and be like, whoa, wow. You know, just get the
Yep.
wisdom from
Yeah.
that. And so again, that brings us to our topic, 5 places to get bad marriage advice.
Right. But before we go into that, I want to tell you something that just really stood out to me at that funeral was the fact that he literally preached his own funeral. It was, if we would have let everybody sit up and talk, we would still be there.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
this guy was like, I won't say perfect and sinless, but when you're a good person,
Mhm.
people have so many good things they want to say about you. Like
Right.
literally, we had to stop. Well, Pastor had to stop people from coming up because it was just going to go on and on and on. And it's based upon the life that he lived, a servant of God, a servant of the people,
Yeah.
a servant of his community.
And I'm telling you,
Upheld his wife to the highest
esteem.
standard.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I was really,
He was,
impressed with
I'm
that.
telling you, babe, this man was faithful. If anybody, this man was faithful
Every
to
person that got up
they
said
that's
that.
it.
Every
Faithful to
single
his
person.
church. First of all, faithful to God, faithful to his church, and he was faithful to his wife. I'm telling you. And I ain't talking about faithful that no cheap, but no, I'm talking about faithful. If Rosalie said do this or do whatever, he'll just
Make it happen.
make it happen for her, man. I'm telling you, like you said, he preached his own eulogy.
Mhm.
Bishop Bad, they really didn't have to
He
say too
didn't have
much.
to say nothing.
Nah, man, I'm
Nothing.
telling
So
you.
I was really impressed by that, and
Yes,
that's something that I strive for because I want to do good for people. I want to be a servant of the people. I don't want to be taken advantage of.
Right.
But I do, want to be able to. I mean, I was going to say be able to hear, but when you did,
You ain't gonna hear nothing.
But I would, like to leave a legacy like that, a servant of God,
Okay.
first of all.
All right, so let's get ready to get into topic A.
Let's get into
If you're
topic.
watching with us, come on, sign out. Tell us where you're watching from. Put down your name, that you're watching, and let us know that you're with us. All right. So again, we want to make sure that you, even after this, you can stream on all, Spotify. We on YouTube Live, YouTube podcasts. So we everywhere. So we want to make sure, and this is what we want to do. Forgot to say, we want to make sure you share and like.
Mm-hmm,
Right?
mm-hmm.
We want to make sure you share and like this live stream. So please do that. All right, so we ready. 5 places to get bad marriage advice. We look at little topics, we look at little blogs, and we go through that and we talk about those things. We have a conversation, about those things. So 5 places to get bad marriage advice. One thing I would say that before we get into the really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is that I don't believe nobody wants to get advice from somebody who hasn't been through something.
Right.
I mean, that's just me. If you haven't been through it, you can try to help me, but you don't understand what really is going on. And I gotta admit, I was bad at that. I was very, very bad at that. I was at the point at one time believing that, hey, you a Christian, you should be able to get over this. I got over, like I tell people all the time, I used to curse a lot. I just stopped cursing. And so I believe that everybody should be just like that. You hear preachers, talk about you got the Holy Ghost will make you stop and all this kind of stuff. And you got to understand, everybody is different. Everybody is different.
Yeah.
And so when you go to somebody, not that you're going to ask them what they've been through, but you can tell what they've been through, right? It's like this. You have a doctor. You want to have surgery. You don't want to go to a primary care doctor. you want to go to the specialist, right?
Right.
That's where you want to go to. And then when you go to the specialist, you look at the walls and say, "Well, how long you been doing this?" Right?
Right.
You,
Looking around for them degrees.
hey, look, I don't want nobody operating on me, and I'm the first patient.
No.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. I don't want you to be. No. I don't want that. That's why a lot of times in the military, you go to the military doctors for surgeons. You say, "No, that's all right. I get somebody else to do it," because a lot of the people, they come in, they do their little time in the military, and they do all the surgery practicing. That's right. I don't need nobody practicing on me when I'm looking for advice. I don't need that right now. I need somebody who's been through the thick and the thin and can say, look, this is how I got through it. And I'm telling you, it's not going to be easy. You know what I mean? It's not going to be easy, but you can make it. If I can make it, you can make it. As a perfect example. That's why sometimes, even as pastors, we're talking about marriage. You go to a pastor who's single. I mean, what they can tell you from the scripture, they can tell you from maybe their parents, if their parents are still married, but can they tell you about marriage?
From experience.
From experience.
No, they can't.
They really can't. They really can't. And so you might say, well, they could tell you spiritually. I'm going to read this scripture here. I'm going to read this scripture. I was looking for this. And it's Hebrews 4:15. It's Hebrews 4:15. And this is from the Christian Standard Bible. 4:15. Let me find it. Let me make sure I got it. All right. It says, for we do not have a high priest. All right. Let me start at 14. It says, therefore, since we have a great high priest who has passed through the heavens, Jesus, the Son of God, let us hold fast to our confession. Right? Mm-hmm. So it's saying that Jesus is the high priest. He's passed through all of the heavens. He came down from heaven. He was born here and he went back. He done passed through all of the heavens. And he says, let us hold fast our confession. He says this. He says, for we do not have a high priest who is Jesus. He just declared who it was, who is unable to sympathize with our weaknesses. So it's telling us that Jesus, we don't have one that can sympathize. We don't have one who he haven't been through no temptation. He's able to sympathize. It says, but one who has been tempted in every way as we are, yet without sin.
Yeah.
Right? So that means Jesus, now he could have come down and just went to the cross and redeemed us. He could have done that. Came as a man and redeemed us and went back. We look at Melchizedek. We don't know where he came from. There's a lot of people we don't know where he came from. But he didn't do that. He came down as a baby. And as I was said even on Sunday, is that Jesus went to the bathroom just like us.
Right.
He had to take a shower. He had to do all these things. And sometimes people look at Jesus as this. I mean, he was perfect, but as this perfect person. Let me explain. Some look at he didn't have to go to the bathroom. He was all holy. You know what I mean? He didn't have the same issues we did, whatever. So he had to come in and to let us know that, look, I've been through it, and if I can handle it, you can handle it too.
Amen.
Right? All right. That's my
spiel.
That's my sermon for the night.
Okay.
All right. That's my sermon. All right. All right. So
the
the reason why I said that, the reason why I wanted to point that out was because again, if a person has been through it, you'll listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's the same thing with Jesus. So 5 places to get bad marriage advice. All right. So when things need fixing, especially in a marriage, we turn a lot to places for advice. But when we go to the wrong source, it can cost us dearly. Right? Mm-hmm. If we don't get the right specialist, if we have a plumbing problem and we say we're going to get a handyman, but what we really need a plumber. Mm-hmm. We'll find out that handyman came and messed it all up, made it worse.
Yeah, we've
experienced that. It made it all worse, right? And now you got to go and hire somebody to fix his problem.
Yep.
Right? Absolutely. So if you could have hired the person beforehand. So all right, so we ready. You ready?
I'm ready.
You ready?
Let's do it.
All right. The first number one, and I want y'all to listen to this number one person that to place to go for bad marriage advice is friends of the opposite sex.
Yes.
Friends of the opposite sex. Why you smiling? Why you laughing?
Because I know where this is leading to.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people don't think that that's a bad thing.
But so what if it's a person that has like her best friend is a guy and they've been friends since they were in 6th grade. She can't go to her best friend
We talking about marriage now. We ain't talking about just hanging out. We talking about marriage.
I know. So if she's married and she can't call up her best friend and say, I'm going through with the mister, that's a no.
First, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna take this. Look,
You gonna take it?
I'm gonna put it like this. You know what? And even this is it can get to be a problem. If your friend is not rooted and grounded in God, that's already going to be a problem anyway.
Why you say that?
Because a lot of prayer meetings, a lot of prayer partners start happening at 2:00 in the morning.
Well, no. I'm not like that.
Right? So we have to be careful. All right. But just like this article says, this scenario offers too much temptation. It offers too much temptation. And you know how it is when you go to your friend of the opposite sex, right? Friend of the opposite sex, you start saying, I'm having this problem with my husband. I'm having this problem with my wife. I'm having this problem. And sooner or later, you start getting an emotional bond with that person. You don't want that to happen. And even friends that's been for 16, 20, 30, 40 years, sometimes the enemy will come in and just wait for that particular situation.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you and especially, man, it can get crazy.
Well, what is it?
All right. So the person says one friend begins to confide in another, and as they talk through the marriage problems, he or she offers support and consolation. Something more happens. Without even intending it for it to happen, they formed an emotional bond that is inappropriate. It don't intend to happen, but that's just how it happens. And now what people say, you're emotional cheating on me.
An
right?
emotional affair.
An emotional affair. That's what you have.
Well, so what you're saying that if my homeboy
and also that emotional affair can easily lead to a physical affair.
I can agree with that.
Okay.
But so you're saying like my homeboy is definitely not someone that I want to confide in unless he is rooted in the word and committed to his relationship with the Lord.
And if he is, right, he's going to say, this is what he is. If somebody from the opposite sex come to me about, I got this marriage problems, you know what I'm going to say? Well, we need to talk, okay, me and Patsy will talk to you.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? I'm not talking to no female by myself about some marriage. Now, I mean, marriage problems. You know what I mean? When I say that, I mean, there's certain people like sons and daughters of the gospel that I know I can talk to, and but we know what's the max on the topic. You know what I mean? Because what happens is a lot of times you start getting so comfortable, and you're not talking about little like, oh, he don't do this for me. You start getting into the sexual part and all this kind of stuff, and now here comes the enemy and start working at that. I ain't got time to be talking about that. All right.
Okay.
So that's and as I said, it can easily lead to an affair, and suddenly a marriage that had some problems that's even more. If you must talk to a friend, make it a friend of the same gender, or talk to that friend. If that friend has a wife, we sitting down talking together.
Okay, I got you.
You got that?
Yeah.
All right, we agree on that.
I agree on that.
And now, if y'all disagree on out there, just come on, put it in the chat, and we'll talk about it. We put it out there. All right, here's the next one. Here's a good one too.
It's a good one.
This is a good one. Number 2, those sour on marriages. They sour on marriage. They got divorced, and they say this man ain't no good. This woman ain't no good. They just sour on marriage. They sour on relationships.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
You go to them advice about your marriage, they can say, well, what I would do. That's what they, somebody's coming, what I would do. And they say with an attitude, that's a problem. Because if they are sour on it and you go and confide on them, they're not going to give you no positive things for your husband or a wife. They're going to talk negative because they can't stand a marriage, and they're going to talk against your marriage.
Misery loves company.
Oh, man,
So
misery.
if mine fail, let me do with it. Let me help you out so you can get rid of this guy who ain't doing what you need him to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm bitter now.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, with women, they'll say, no man is no good. Trust no man, because they've been damaged so much by different relationships. So when you go to them, you go to your girlfriend, you be like, I'm going through this, with the man that I love.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll be like, well, and you're right. Although she thinks she's helping, she's actually planting seeds
Right.
into you, and you don't realize it because you're broken at the time. So you're receiving everything that she's depositing. And so when you go back home, the first thing happen is you're going to argue. You're going to find the smallest things that just tick you off to make you feel like, this girl got a point. I'm going to get rid of him. But be careful with that, ladies, because just as soon as you put him to the side, she'll be right there to pick him up.
Oh. Boy, looky here. I got to sign along on that
one. You know what? I got to take your toys away.
You got to take my toys away. No, you ain't taking my toys away. No. The article says, look, when they come and they say, look, especially divorce or marriage friend, and they would say, believe me, I know you got to do what's best for you. Mm-hmm. Not best what's best for the marriage.
Right.
Not best, but child, you need to do what's best for you, Well, how do you know what's best for me? Only God knows what's best for me. Only God knows through me what's best for me, right? And so if you go to a person and they all about leaving, and like you said, they'll be right there to pick you.
Right,
because if you don't went and confided in that same sex person, right? They same gender person, and you done told them the good.
Oh, they know the good, because if they're your girlfriend, you done told them all the good.
Mm-hmm.
They know it all, and they're not having the same thing in their relationship. And once their relationship failed, now it's their job to help you feel yours. You don't realize it, and they don't even realize that that's what they're helping you do. But that's how sneaky the enemy is.
Mm-hmm.
He creeps in your vulnerability, and you thinking that you're supporting and helping when really you're depositing doubt.
Wow.
You're depositing doubt. So now, when that person go back to their husband, now every little thing is a problem. And when that is over, yes, they're gonna go right there so they can pick it up, because they know the type of man he can be.
Yeah.
And they know what not to do to keep him to be the man that they want him to be. Mm-hmm. And now they got your man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. All right. That's number 2. All right. Again, that's number 1. That's number 2. All right. Friends of the opposite sex. You can type them in if you want to. You can type them in if you want to.
Oh, okay.
If you want to.
No, not really.
Not really? Okay. All right. Friends of the opposite sex. So look, we'll have somebody who's on the online. Y'all type them in for us. All right.
Well, you said if I wanted to, but do you want me to? Because I can do it.
Well, you know what? I can have. No, you ain't got to do it. We can have somebody do it for us. Whoever on the line, they can type it in for us.
All right.
So number 1 is friends of the opposite sex. And number 2, those sour on marriage. All right. Mm-hmm. Number 3. All right. This is a good one too. People who don't share your values. It kind of goes into the friend, the other one, those sour on marriage. People who don't share your marriage. So if you view marriage as a covenant relationship and not a contract.
Right. There's
a difference between a covenant and a contract. And that's, we're trying to get special couples, young couples to understand, even though, who are going through things. There's a difference between a covenant and a contract. A contract can be amended. Right? A contract can be torn up. A contract can go to the court of law, right? And say who's right and who's wrong.
Right.
You can sue a person for a contract.
Yes.
right? You can do all that stuff. But when you have a covenant that like God has with us, the Old Testament, the New Testament's Old Covenant, New Covenant. When God says, look, I never leave you, I never forsake you, that is a covenant. Right? That is a covenant. That is a truth. That is a promise that would never, he says, I'm a man that won't lie. Right? So he's a covenant. He said, I'm going to love you through it all. No matter what you do, I'm going to love you. Right? For God so loved the world that he gave, that I'm going to give you my son. I love you that much. It is also a covenant. He chastises who he loves. So sometimes we go into discipline from God, but he loves us.
He loves us.
That is his covenant with us.
Absolutely.
Right? So marriage has to be treated as a covenant. Now, when a person breaks a covenant, God is not going to break his side. But we have a tendency to break the covenant with God. When we sin, when we do all stuff, we go back and ask for forgiveness. But when a person breaks a covenant within a marriage, for instance, they cheat, God says, okay, you broke the covenant. You have the right to leave. Somebody abuse you. They keep abusing physically, mentally, whatever. If they're not, as the Bible says, a man should love his wife as Christ loved the church. Christ has never abused us.
Nope.
He's never beaten on us. He's never emotionally did that. So if we don't love, if a husband don't love his wife and beating on her, that covenant now is broken, and you have the right to leave. Beating on the kid. Yeah. But if it's financial, there's something we can work through that.
Yeah.
We can work through a lot of things. So that's why it's a covenant dealing with more than a contract. So they got to have. You don't go to a person again who divorced, who believes it is as a contract. Child, just leave him.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Or just leave her.
Yeah, just leave her.
Leave her.
No. So if you view marriage as a covenant relationship between you, your spouse, and your God, why would you consult with someone who doesn't share that fundamental belief? It would be like me going to a Jehovah's Witness for marriage counseling. Why would I want to do that? Or me going to the Muslim, or me going to Hebrew Israelites, knowing how they treat their women, right? And why would I want to? No.
I think, and I think that comes down to being equally yoked as well. Because if you serve the same God and you believe in the same values, it's easy to, to make it work and stick it through, as long as there's no physical, emotionally, abuse going on and no one's literally stepping outside of the marriage. But I have known marriages where they have stepped outside of the marriage, but they started over, recommitted, got back under the covenant of God, and these marriages have gone on, lasted years and years, and some still together. So it takes two individuals, and I think it's really important that they have the same values and they want the same things. I don't know what caused them to step out and do whatever they stepped out, but then they found that under the covenant of God, this is something that they can forgive and move forward. And you can't allow other people to deposit stuff into your marriage, especially if they don't serve and believe in the same God that you do.
That is it, baby. That is it.
Yeah.
If they don't believe that God is the center of your marriage, that's the most important belief, value that you got to have.
I totally agree.
Because the first thing they can say, do this and do that. Not that God loved you through this. God loved you through that. God loved you. And they can say, God did that. And if he did that for you, now you can do that within the marriage.
Yeah.
Somebody, that's really believe that what God put together, let no man put asunder. That is, God is part of this 3-string cord, that anything can happen, anything can work. The worst of it still can work if you put God first.
Yeah,
you got to put God. So like this says this here. It says, once the core values are removed from the marriage equation, all bets are off, and you're left with nothing but what you feel to guide you, and that's dangerous ground. You feel yourself. You don't feel God in it, and so we have to people, like if you're going to a marriage counselor, you're going to get marriage advice, find people who are God loving people.
I agree. And people that's going to direct you back to the Lord.
Yeah, people going to direct and say, look, well, we're going to pray about this.
Yes.
We're going to pray. We're going to pray about this. You know, when we had problems, we went to Bishop. We didn't go to no any and everybody. We went to Bishop, and Bishop got us with prayer.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got us with realness, right?
Yeah, he did.
Right? So that's how you have to have. You got somebody that's saying, okay, this is what the word says. This is what the word says. This is Eric, this is what the word says. This is how you're supposed to treat your wife. Patsy, this is what the word says. This is how you're supposed to treat your husband. This is what the word says. Now we're going to work through this thing and we're going to help this thing. And this is what's going to happen. But with God, everything is possible.
All things.
All things. I give you that right.
Awesome.
All right. I see G Rob, you thank you for that, Rob. All right. So number 3 is people who don't share your values, Rob. People who don't share your values. That's number 3. All right. Number 4. This is a big one. All right. This is a big one. The local gossip.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Says here, your spouse, no matter how at odds you may feel, deserve your protection and respect. Sharing your marriage problems with someone who will broadcast them all over town is just another dagger thrown. You don't talk to a person that you know is a gossiper.
Yeah, no.
Your business will be all over. And what if it doesn't work? What if your marriage doesn't work? And that person's a gossiper.
Like I told y'all it was falling apart.
And they telling everybody. And so now when people see you, they know your business.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You gotta be careful who you talk to. You gotta be able to confide into people, into a marriage couple, a marriage counselor that's not going to tell your business. Now we know a counselor who has a license or whatever, they better not tell your business. Matter of fact, your pastor, as you go to them, they better not tell your business anyway. But how in the world would you go to a church that when you tell your pastor your business, they get up and preach about it? Why would you go to that?
I don't know, but some people are comfortable.
It's no way. There's no way. Me personally, if I go and tell you, I confide you, first of all, that's illegal.
Mm-hmm.
You can get sued. If I go to a pastor and I go to him in counseling, confident, and I go and tell him, now certain things he is obligated to report, child abuse, abuse, things like that. He is obligated to report. But I'm talking about my marriage and things like that. And then I get and hear you that you preaching about it. I get up and walk out of church and never go back until that pastor apologizes to me. And then even when he apologizes or he or she apologizes, I'm still not going to be able to tell them nothing no more. Because I can't confide in you, because that means it's just like you gossiping. That's exactly what you're doing. You talking about the Holy Spirit told you to do that. Oh, nah.
Blame it on the Holy Spirit.
Blame it on. Don't be lying on the Holy Spirit.
Well, and you also just really have to be careful, because just remember, if you're talking to them and they talking to you about somebody else, trust and believe they talking about you to someone else.
Wow.
You just have to really have that spirit of discernment, and you have to have that voice of God, and He will direct you to who you could trust with your personal business. And sometimes when you're going through things, you need to vent. You need somebody to say, "Oh my goodness, if this man asks for mashed potatoes one more time, I'm gonna lose it." Sometimes you need someone that you can confide in and that you can talk to. So you just have to, and it goes back to those values. Does this person share the same values? Maybe in church they just so holy, but that they said something about sister so and so because it got back to you, and the Lord will give you a spirit of discernment, so He'll be able to direct you who you should speak to. And let's not get it twisted. It's not all the women that be doing it in the church. The men be doing it just as well.
We ain't gonna get it twisted. That ain't twisted nothing. It's equal. It's an equal thing. Gossip is equal. It doesn't matter man or woman. Gossip is equal. They want to say, "Oh, women gossip." Hey, men do too. We gossip. So yeah.
You just really have to be careful. And like I said, you have to pray about, God, send me someone that I could talk to. And based upon the HIPAA law, if a therapist put your business out there, you own her business.
That's it.
You own it.
Yeah.
You know, if a preacher put it out there, you leave his church. You tell him
Mhm.
why you leaving.
Yes, sir.
And if anybody else asks you why, I gave him some personal information and it was shared and I didn't like it and I'm out.
Right.
You know, you don't have to be ashamed to leave, and you could have been there 30 years. But your respect is respect. You know,
Mhm.
personal is personal. And you just really, like I said, I can't really, say this enough about seeking God and asking him for a spirit of discernment so you'll know who you can talk to and who you can't. I have such a high spirit of discernment that when someone walked through the door, I immediately my spirit leaps if it's just not good. And I'll tell pastor and I'll be like, babes. And he'd be like, Patsy, you just that's just why do you feel that way? I'm like, babe, trust and believe. I know what's up. And it never fails. So, he will guide you.
Right, right. He was a guy.
He will guide you to who you can speak to
And who you can
and who
trust.
you can be transparent with. Because sometimes
Yes.
when you speak to somebody, you got to open up just to get it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
so.
And you don't want your business, like I said, you don't want to, being, and that brings us back to, I remember baby boy Jordan was telling me about this word shame,
Mm.
I his mentor told about, and I never, ever in all my life thought about it. But that's what the devil uses, shame, and so that's why we already shame about something. We already shame that our marriage is going to, because people have been looking at our marriage and people say, oh, y'all look so cute together, this and this and that. It had been holding us up, holding you up, marriage to a high esteem. And you get shamed because you don't want people to know what's going on with your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And so what the enemy does, he puts shame in it. So now you can't confide in the right person. Right. And your marriages get worse and worse and worse and worse. But because you shame, you just don't get it. And so what you should do, like you said, seek God.
Absolutely.
God, I need somebody. Lord, give me wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
I need wisdom. A bishop would tell me that all the time. He said, that's the first thing you pray for in the morning. He said, Lord, not the first thing, but that's one of the things that you pray. Lord, give me wisdom for today. I need wisdom. Give me my daily bread. Give me wisdom. And so that's how you got to say, Lord, give me wisdom. Seek the right counsel, seek righteous counsel. And if you seek it, it's not going to go to the local gossip.
No.
No.
That'll be the last verse.
Yeah. That's it right there. All right. So number 4 is the local gossip. Number 4 is the local gossip. All right. Number 5. Well, we had a discussion on this one, didn't we? Number 5 is your parents.
Ooh.
Your parents. Seek bad advice. There's 5 places, that's one of the places you can get bad advice. They don't go there. Don't go to your parents. And this is what the person says. This warning is more of a judgment call. All right. But deserve consideration. As a parent, this is the reason why. And I can say this. As a parent, you have watched your child grow up from little infant to now they are married, right? You have looked out for that child. Anybody said anything about that child, it could be good or bad. You stood out for that child. You spoke up for that child. That's what you do. Even though they can be wrong, you addressed that person, but you got home and you may beat their butt. You embarrassed me in front of them. That's your child. Now they're married.
No, they're married.
Now they're married. And now the person from the opposite who they're married to is doing something wrong to them. How you think you're going to feel about that other person?
Yeah. I'm a mama bear, so, I'm ready to
Right?
ready to growl.
Right? So it's the same thing like with my daughters. I believe sometimes they didn't bring nobody because they know I'm gonna be overprotective for my daughters. I'm not gonna let any and everybody just knock on my daughter. And if I ever find out a joker did something to my daughters, y'all gonna have to get me out of jail.
I got you.
You got me? All right, I ain't gonna
ain't
tell
in
you.
the cell next to you.
No, ain't nobody gonna be, doing abusing my not that I know of, right? Because they're my daughters. And my daughter they could have did something. I don't know what they did because I know my daughters, they capable of doing something. My daughters ain't perfect. Our son ain't perfect. Ain't nobody perfect, right? And they could be doing something crazy, but hey, look, I'm going to protect my daughter, right? So that's one of the reasons why they say it's a judgment call with your parents. Now, we talked about this, and it was the opposite with us, right?
Hmm.
You would call my mom,
Yeah, yeah.
and what would my mom say?
Put that boy on the phone. I got some words for him.
Right?
Put him on the phone. But then I would call my mom, and what would my mom say?
What did you do to Eric?
And I was like, I can't win for losing it. I'm your daughter. He is not your son.
Right.
Let me tell you something. He is crazy. But yeah, they did. You know,
took
we
the
could go
opposite
to,
of
and
what
that's
we-
what I was saying with the conversation. I was like, this is weird because if I called your mom and I told your mom I needed some advice about you, she was like, okay, I'm gonna straighten him out. You know what? They put him on the phone, and she handled that. And throughout the entire marriage, there's never been a time when I called her and she didn't take my side. You know, I don't care whatever it was. She always took my side, and she always encouraged me. But she also said when she hung up with me, I need to speak to him before we hang up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but if I called my mom
Yes, sir.
for advice and said, "Mom, you know, Eric is doing so and so," she would go, "Well, what did you do to him?"
All right. That's
And
it.
I'll be like,
Give a shout out to mom.
"I don't do that." And so I would be like, "What do you mean? What I did? I didn't do anything. I'm being a dutiful wife. I'm doing all I'm supposed to be doing as a wife, and he getting on my nerves and making me angry and upsetting me." And but she took your space. But then I remember in the same conversation you said, so if Jordan call you and he having a problem, you know, him and Malika having a problem, I was like, I have to go over there and handle her. That's my baby.
Right. Yeah, you ain't gonna. No. No. You ain't doing that. First of all, you're staying out of their marriage.
Well, then that's what you said. You know, I definitely would. I would first of all say, I think you guys need some counseling, but I don't think that me and your dad
Should be the
should be the
counselor.
ones to counsel you.
That's right. That's right. Now
You
that's wisdom and that's judgment. You know, that's why, you know, if something is going on, we're not doing the counseling.
Absolutely not.
Because again, like we say, you can start taking sides and you hearing people, you hearing, but I ain't hearing you because that's my son, or I ain't hearing you, that's my daughter. So we as counselors, we as marriage counselors, and with our children, we have to guide them and says, look, you know what? The best thing to do is we recommend this counselor. And look, we're not going to ask the counselor. We have to stay out of it because
Absolutely, I agree.
I you know what? I want every marriage to work, especially my children's marriages,
Yeah.
especially. And so I would go to lengths to make sure that the children's marriages is working. I would do everything I can to do that. And so if that's staying out of it, which I got to stay out of it, you know, we worked that out, so they got to work it out, you know? So yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
But
but then I mean, if he was to get physical, then and she called me, I'm gonna have to go over there and help her, help her take him out.
I wish Jordan would.
I got your back.
I wish Jordan would.
I don't
And
think he
we
ever
ain't worried
would.
about that.
I help Malika beat him down.
Yes, sir.
I be like, girl, I'm coming.
I
I'm
don't
on
care
the
how
way.
big Jordan is. He should know.
She said it would be nice, but like I say, they treat me good. I'm not complaining. They ain't telling the truth.
Oh, Jordan, let's go back up. Jordan said, I got to hear this. And Sansa say, you know, Izzy says, my parents take up for what's right, but mostly side with Sam. Sam, I got to give it to you, boy.
I don't know. Maybe that's some type of parents' rule or something. Because my mom definitely side with Eric.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like, yeah. So, be nice to Mama Leica. Oh, look at that. That's what she say. First lady ain't telling the truth. That's what Jordan says. She gonna come to my house and beat me up. All right.
Sure is.
So I don't like this propaganda. All right, Jordan.
I'm just letting you know, son. But yeah, so you know, and that's true. Sometimes you know, you think you know, of course, if your parents been married for years, you'd be like, oh, they got some good advice. Let me go over and talk to them. But of course, you know, we can't help but be biased toward the child that we birth. You know,
But I think it's a difference between getting advice and being counselor. I don't know. Like, if I wouldn't say that we wouldn't want our children to come to me and and say, this is what's going wrong in our marriage. We want we want to leave the door open for them to come and say, we having problems in the marriage. So I don't want our children who's listening and who's watching or whatever, I don't want them to say, well, I can't go to my parents now. I want them
Right,
to,
right. I know what you mean.
know what I'm saying? I want them to be able to say, you know what, we're having problems, and we can advise them, says, okay, I know this is a good counselor. This is a good thing. Certain things, yes. We having financial problems. Okay, let's talk about it. We could talk about financial problem. But I guess it's certain levels, when it comes down to abuse or sexual immorality, things like that. Or I don't think, no, y'all, you need to go and talk, or
Right,
whatever.
right.
But it's, certain advice, certain things. Yes, we should, as parents, should be able to sit down and guide them and do whatever. I believe that.
Do you feel like it's easier to counsel couples that's not related?
What you mean?
Like, okay, it's easier to counsel. Like we have this couple that we're getting ready to start counseling. It's easier to counsel them than it will be to counsel our children.
Of course,
Yeah,
because again, they have that. It's personal.
yeah,
I mean, it's personal in the other way as well, but it's not close personal, I guess, if
right.
I'm saying it right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm,
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's,
okay.
and sometimes it's hard to counsel siblings. And I
Yeah,
ain't talking about our siblings. I'm talking about our kids. I'm talking about, siblings. You, say for instance, one sibling recommend us to counsel the other sibling. We have to trust that one sibling who recommended us, they love that other sibling so much, or they got some counseling that they would do right and they won't meddle in that. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
And so that's the only reason why I would counsel siblings, right? I got to know that other sibling.
right,
You know
right.
what I mean? I gotta have trust in that sibling that they're not gonna gossip. They're not gonna meddle in. They're calling, encourage. Hey, did you get counsel Pastor Eric, Sister Lady Patsy? Yeah. Say keep on going, keep on going, keep on doing, because they did this. They helped us with this or that, but they won't meddle in. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
so I trust that sibling. I really, really do. If I didn't, if I wouldn't trust that sibling, I wouldn't counsel the other sibling.
Right, right.
You see what I'm
I
saying?
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm guessing, our parents are there to guide us. And I
That's what they
think
do.
they can guide us, and like it's made to say, hey, for the most part, they're gonna go for what's right. Of course, they're gonna pick their son-in-law because they know us. They raised us, so they always think that we on the opposite end, giving the problem. So I think more or less a guidance, and I think that's just everything throughout life. That's the whole part of being a parent is is giving guidance and setting routes and giving tools to help us grow, to become the productive adults, wife, husband, father, mother. They give us the tools that we need.
Right.
So, and when they can no longer provide those tools and the wisdom to shift us to someone that can, that we, can feel comfortable enough to, you know, work on those values and putting God back into the center of the marriage
Mhm.
and working on it. You can't stand this is when you can't stand up in front of the church and praise the Lord and throw your hands up and cry and all this and then go home and be a woman of the devil.
Oh Lord. Yeah, that's an inside joke, y'all. Yeah.
And you want to be a woman of God, not a woman of them. So when you
Or a
can't,
man of the devil.
you can't be one way in the sanctuary and then go home and be pure hell. God has to be in the center all the time.
Right.
When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I say, Lord, use me to do something really good today.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Let me make you so proud.
Mm-hmm.
And if you keep that mentality of how you want God to lead your day, then you'll be able to be productive
Yeah.
and make people smile, which is not what I feel up to doing tomorrow.
Yeah, you're gonna go there and make people proud. So okay, so your parents is a judgment call,
Mm-hmm.
right? If your parents are true, they're not really going to stick up for one somebody. They want your parents they should want your marriage to succeed.
Of course.
And if your parents want your marriage to succeed, you should be able to go to them and they should be able to give you advice on certain things. And if it's beyond them, if they think that, like I would feel, you know what, this is a sticky one here, and I don't want to get into no sticky situations where I start leaning towards this person or leaning towards that person. I'm gonna recommend some counsel. You pick one or two or three or whatever, and I'm out of it because I want your marriage to succeed.
Right.
I want your marriage to succeed, and I don't want to pick favorites. I don't want to do that. Right?
Right.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Let's see what's going on.
This is the last one. It's
Oh.
not on there, but this is the last one. I
Uh-oh.
thought of this one and I said, this is good. You do not want to take marriage advice from fake people.
What do you mean, fake people?
You want to take a marriage advice from people that are going to be real about,
Not sugarcoated.
not sugarcoated,
Yeah.
hold you accountable.
Right.
That's who you want. You want people that's going to hold you accountable. They're going to be real.
Mhm.
They want to be transparent.
Mhm.
They want to, again, it goes back to the first one. Look, I've been through it. I may not tell you exactly. I'm going to give you a little bit, but I'm going to not tell you exactly all of it. But I'm telling you, and if God can help me to get through this, God, with my advice, is going to help you to get through it.
Mhm.
You want to go take marriage from real people who are real about the things that they've been through and don't fake about it.
Right.
I can't stand fake people. They walk around, they don't get sick. They got the Holy Ghost, they don't sin. They just I can't stand it. I really can't stand it. I've been in church all my life and I can't stand it. I really can't. And I can't stand, you look at marriage and the marriage say, oh, it's going to be all right. Oh, tell me how it's going to be all right. And they don't want to tell you just a little. You don't have to tell me every stinking detail. Just tell me something so I can know. Just like how Jesus was tempted, right? Look, they didn't have to put that Jesus was tempted for 40 days.
Right.
That didn't have to be in there. After 40 days, he went and then he was tempted. They didn't have to put that in there
No, they
because
didn't.
not all the Gospels have it.
Mm.
Right? Not all the Gospels have it. But he wanted to show us that Jesus went through some things from fasting and praying. He was hungry. He was dead. And so I want to be able to go to some marriage counselors who can sit down and talk to me and tell me about their story. And I can say, look, just like we started off, 70 years.
Mm.
The Raleighs, 70 years.
Yeah.
I go to sit down and talk to them, and they can say, and I know they've been married 70. I know they went through hell and back.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But the perseverance, the God in them kept them pushing forward. But you're gonna come across people that's gonna, give you bad information. You're gonna come across people that's gonna give you good information. But the best thing that you could do is take all of the information to the Lord so he can wean out what you don't need
Right.
and what you can focus on and keep that marriage strong. Even in every relationship, there's ups and downs and roller coaster rides and craziness. And my friend said this one thing to me that I really thought, I was like, wow, lifing, it's life.
Right.
You got to go through some ups and downs. But if you don't have no downs, you won't know that the good times and the up times are good times if you never don't have anything to strive from. And just with our walk with the Lord, it ain't going to be smooth sailing all the time. It's going to be, it's going to be some issues. It's going to be some times when you just overwhelmed. It's going to be some times when you just, you don't want to read your Bible. You want to pray as you walking out the door instead of going into your closet. It's going to be times when you don't want that intimacy, or you don't feel that intimacy. But once you strive and keep that relationship strong, it's going to draw you back. You just have to stay focused on, where you're trying to go in Christ. And my goal, I'm trying to get to heaven.
That's where I'm trying to get, baby.
I'm trying to get to heaven.
Trying to get to heaven.
I'm
all
trying
right?
to do whatever I have to do to keep this marriage together.
Oh, I love you, baby. I love you with all my heart because you do. All right, you do. Hey, I'm telling you. And that's what I'm saying is that husbands, and I'm speaking to some husbands who's online, who's watching, and who's going to be listening. You know, we people look, and sometimes they don't think that we have a hard job, but we do, because we're going to be held accountable on how we treat our wife and how we treat our kids, how we lead our family. We're going to be held accountable. And so that's why we must have God on our side. We have to have God on our side, and we have to have a wife that's going to stick with us, who understands the hardships of it and give us grace. Right? Give us grace as we give our wife grace, because that's part of what Jesus did. So if we're not giving our wife grace, we can't expect grace from our wife. But if we're doing what we're supposed to do as Christ loved the church, I believe, man, our wife would do anything for us. I honestly believe that. All right. So, hey, I want y'all to sign off. All right. All right. I want y'all to sign off. Where do you get good marriage advice? I want you to sign off in the chat, or you can call in. Where do you get good marriage advice? Tell us, where do you get good marriage advice from, and how do you take it? Come on, you can sign off in the chats, or you can sign off in the calls here. Let them get the call number here for you set up here with the calls, and have a new deal here.
Okay, so Rob has a question.
Rob has a question. Talk to us. Talk to me, baby.
Do you think people should take marriage advice from friends because of that bias?
What's that again? What did he say? Do you think people should take marriage advice from friends because of that bias? That's another judgment call. Just like with your parents. Because your friends can be biased.
Because they're your friends.
Because they're your friends.
Right.
And if they are a friend, and you've been friend, and you've been going to this person, and they could be of the same sex and the same gender. You've been going to this person, and you're saying this. And again, if they're not a Christian, that's the wrong thing to do, because they're gonna.
But if y'all been friends for years and years and years, and I think I started out with that, for years and years and years, you don't think that. You don't think that he could go to a friend and say, homie, I'm having problems with the woman that I love.
He could take advice from one, if they're not soured. If they, you know what I'm saying? It goes back to all of the steps that we take. If they don't have a sour, if they had never been married, how can they advise you? Right? Again, if they're not sour, if they're not a gossiper, they're not all of these things, then yes, you can go to them and they can advise you. Say, man, just hang in there. Say, for instance, they've been married. Right? They've been married a long time. Of course, you can go to them and they can say, man, hang in there. Hey, bro, it's gonna be all right. Just say yes, dear. I'm just throwing it out. But they can, so you can go to them. And if they really want marriages to succeed, then yes, you should be able to go to their friend. Okay. I believe that.
I was just thinking about this movie I saw. I don't know, if anyone else has seen it. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have. It's called Think Like a Man, and it has Kevin Hart in there and a few other African American actors and actresses. But in there, the Kevin Hart is the only one that's married. He's married to Wendy Williams, and he's having problems with her. And he's like, he keep going to them, and because they're all single, and they keep telling him, man, just lead a woman. She just giving you a hard time, and it's just not working out for you. And so he keeps going. So he keeps trying to go back to her, but he keep coming back to his friends saying, I like, in other words, I don't know what I'm doing here, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know this, and they keep telling him, just lead a woman. At the end of the movie, he ended up with her because there was a communication between the two of them, and he didn't take the advice from his friends, because had he taken the advice from his friends who were single, mind you, they were all dating, but they were single, and he was the only one that was married. I think it was another one married. Gary Owens is in there as well, and he was married too, married with children. And he was the only one that was encouraging him to stick it out. So it kind of goes hand in hand. when you're single and you've never been in the relationship, in the covenant of marriage, you really can't give really good sound advice other than, bro, I'm praying for you.
This call may be recorded or transcribed.
All right, we got a call. We got a call. I want you to read what Izzy said first. All right, I'm gonna put it up there as well. Izzy said, family and friends. Our friends are team marriage. Okay. This is what she's asked the question. Who do you take family advice from? She says, family, friends. Our friends are all team marriage. No matter who they are connected to, they always bring us back to our foundation and marriage. Both sides love the other person just as much. All right. Awesome job. Awesome.
That's the way it should be.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it should be.
All right.
Surround yourself with people who are committed to each other, committed to God, committed to growing.
Yep. Committed to marriage.
And marriage, yeah.
Yes. That's it. All right. Here we go. We got somebody that called in.
Caller.
Got to call in.
Hey.
Caller, state your name, where you're calling from.
Hi, my name is Nicole Richards. I'm calling from Tallahassee, Florida.
Hey, Nicole Richards.
Hey, Nicole Richards. How you doing?
Calling.
Thank you for calling.
Oh, you're welcome. No problem. I had a question because I'm a single person, so I find it difficult to take advice from people who are married in terms of how to date and, what to look for and how to manage relationships, especially if they've been married for such a long time, because dating in marriage is so different from what it was in the early 2000s, like literally 5, maybe 10 years ago. Do you both find it difficult being married as long as you have? When couples who are currently going through marriage problems now, do you find it difficult to relate based on how it is now socially and social media and all the different types of challenges that a couple may have being married in 2023 that did not exist in 1990? When y'all got married? 1994? 93? 92. Oh, see, even better. I was going to say 91. But do you find that challenging when you're, in counsel? And how do you approach that? How do you talk about that?
Okay. For me, I don't find it difficult. I think marriage and like your situation of dating is totally two different things. I believe marriage it has a foundational thing. And if the foundational is one, I don't believe you should bring your culture into marriage. I mean, you bring your culture in there, but don't let culture overview. If we are going to be biblical people, if you come to me, we're going to go based on the Bible. That's right. So we're not going to base it on the social norms or what social media says or whatever. If you come to us, we're going to base it on the Bible. That is our foundation. That is our foundation. So I'm going to say to a man, look, this is how you're supposed to treat it. And don't look at social media. Don't look at maybe how you look at another person. This is what the Bible says you're supposed to treat it. As a lady, this is what the Bible says. And, as that. So when we look at that foundation, I don't worry about social media. I don't worry about the different other cultures. I don't worry about that. I work at the foundation of the Bible. Now, when it comes down to dating, I can understand you saying that because dating, I mean, you bring it, we're going to be real. You bring it, you and Nick and Nat, y'all bring up thing. I'll be like, wow, that is totally different how we do, how we used to do it. You used to call them up and, be on the phone with them all, time and take them out and open the door and all this kind of stuff. And now people using dating apps. We didn't have no dating apps, right? So, so it's a totally different thing in dating. So when you come, I learn a lot. And then I say, okay, if that's how you're dating, then that's how you're dating. But if you're going to get into marriage, there is a foundational principle that you need to have when you get into marriage. Now, dating, again, that could be different. You date with social media. I mean, all that kind of stuff. And God bless you, Nikki, you and everybody else who dating.
I know. And, the social media is such a, I really can't find the words to explain it, but when you're trying to compare your life to based on what people are posting and what you're seeing in the celebrity world and all that, those celebrities don't be married 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months. So you can't really compare that to, how you want your life to be. So kind of take a step back from that and really sit down and ask yourself, what am I really looking for in a man? What is it that I want? Foundation. I want somebody that, hey, you don't have to be rich, but they got to be able to at least bring as much as I'm bringing to the table, or we got to be able to lay a foundation of something. So, a lot of these guys now, a lot of them, they looking for the women to bring stuff to the table. It's like, you don't make 6 figures, girl. No, we can't go out. So men have gotten some of them out there, and they really got a bit sassy. So that's got to be difficult for young women nowadays that's looking to build something to build a future with. So definitely my heart go out to that. But you got to collect data. You got to know what you don't want. And you can't find out what you don't want if you don't date. And I know that's kind of sucky, but, how do you know you don't like a watermelon if you don't try it? So,
No, you're absolutely, y'all are absolutely right. And I agree. I just wanted to declare the dating is different. And, I'm not necessarily talking about dating. I was using an example.
mm-hmm.
I'm just talking about just marriage in general, how it's viewed, how it's considered, how, for example, you have fidelity. Like in 1992, when you guys were married, being faithful and being loyal was different versus when you open up your social media, you have a plethora of options. So I was just wondering, like, how do you guys in your counseling sessions, if you ever have any challenges, like trying to get, to come to that place of how you were, years ago, if that's a challenge to you, knowing how things have changed.
So far,
So
Nikki,
much.
no.
So
So
far,
far, it has
no.
not been as so far. Knock on wood, thank God, it hasn't. And I think again, if it ever came, I would again go back to the principles of the foundation, because we try to counsel. Again, the culture. Because I grew up one way, your mom grew up another way, right? So we had, even though we grew up in Pompano or whatever, we had two different cultures, two different lives. And so we look at marriage, we could grow up and look at marriage totally different. And so what we had to do is forget all about that and go to the foundation of the word.
Absolutely.
That's what we had to do. Go to the foundation of the word. So if we're counseling somebody and, like you said, they open up and they have options and say, look, no. The foundation of the word, you don't supposed to cheat on your wife. You don't supposed, like we said earlier, don't be talking to no other sex, because it can lead to other stuff. We're gonna stay on the foundational of marriage. Just do it the right way, and not do it how the celebrities or culture say to do it.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. So
Thank you, Nikki.
there's basics, there's biblical basics
Biblical
Yes,
basics.
to the covenant in marriage, and
There
that's
you
what
go.
y'all focus on,
That's it.
regardless of the different cultures,
Right.
perspectives. Okay, that's good. I just
Yeah.
wanted to know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you.
Thank
Hey.
you. Thank you so much.
You're
Good
welcome.
job, y'all.
All
Thank
right,
you.
bye.
Hey, Lump.
Juicy says hi.
All right. We got another
All right,
call.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, we got another call.
Okay. Well, who is this?
All right, Gabriella. How you doing,
Hi,
Gabrielle?
Gabby.
Hey, Gabby.
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. You're doing good. Okay, what's your question? What you calling in for?
Say that again.
You have a comment, question? You calling in?
Yes. I came across a piece of advice today, through YouTube. There's a professor, I guess, her name is Brene Brown, and she said how marriage is never 50-50, and that's, a big misconception. So what her and her husband do is they check in with each other daily with like a percentage. As soon as one of them walks through the door and sees the other, they kind of give, a number. They'll say like, I'm at 20% today. Or, and the other one will be like, that's okay, I got your 80. And they find ways to kind of balance each other out. And I thought that's something I might want to try implementing, because there are days where you feel more depleted or days where you feel more energized, and that you can kind of take the load off of your partner, or days where you feel like you need the load taken off of you. And, I thought that was interesting. So I'll be interested to also hear your take on that.
I love
Love
it.
it.
I don't know if
Never
it's
heard.
person or anything,
I
but
never heard of
I
that.
just heard it today on YouTube.
Wow, I never heard that, and I love it. And I'm going to implement that. Man, that is good. You know, that you look because because sometimes Patsy comes in from work and she's not feeling it. I should be able to balance it out. Like she'll call and say, "I don't feel like cooking" or whatever. Hey, I don't worry about it. I got it. I don't feel like I'll do the clothes. And I think it should be a balance. I never think that marriage is 50-50. I think it's 100-100. You put all you into it, and not every day you're gonna feel 100.
Right.
So that is so good. Not every day you're gonna feel at 100. So when the days that you don't feel at 100, hey, don't worry about it. I got your 20. I got your 80. Everything will be all right. Go ahead, baby. Just go ahead and take a bath. Just don't worry about it. Enjoy yourself. Yeah. So yeah, I think that is perfect advice. That's good.
Gabby.
Thank you for that.
That is awesome.
All right, I gotta give you a clap on that, Gabby.
We gotta use that one.
Yeah, I gotta use that one.
I think I'm gonna probably be 20 tomorrow.
You don't come in and tell me what you're gonna be tomorrow.
Okay, I'll wait till I wake up.
Wait till tomorrow come. Now Gabby has not given you an excuse. So when you walk in the door and say, "Hey, babe, I'm at 20," no. So if she says she at 20 tomorrow, I know where she got it from, Gabby. From you, I'm gonna call you and tell you about yourself.
I'm gonna text you, Gabby.
Oh, I forgot the second part. I just remembered. So if they ever have a day where let's say he's like, okay, she says her husband will walk through the door and say, I'm at a solid 25 today, and she's only at like 35% or whatever. He says then if they're combined is under 100, they sit down and have a conversation about how they're going to be nice to each other, be kinder to each other, or give each other some space, or find a way to support because they're both not making 100 that day. I forgot that part.
Wow, that is good. I wonder, did she say anything about you constantly coming in? Every day I'm at 25. Every day I'm at 25. Every day I'm at 25. Did she say anything about that? Or every day I'm so negative? Because
I just saw a brief clip.
Okay.
So I didn't get to go that far, but I did plan on looking her up and seeing if there was more to it. But I still thought that part could have been, maybe something helpful, at least in my marriage.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought it was definitely different.
Okay, good. Text us the information. I want to look at that.
Yeah.
Because I'm curious. I love that, and I'm curious. For marriage advice and for people that a person constantly coming in. If we use it, a person constantly coming in. I'm always at 15. I'm always at 15, and so the other person who's is trying to pull the weight can sometimes get overwhelmed and always say, "No, I'm always pulling you." Eventually, it'll wear out. So we don't want that.
Yeah.
We just got it.
All right. And it would take some reevaluating, I assume.
All right. Look like Samantha got it to us. All right.
Altered, I think.
Yeah. Well, Gabby, thank you for calling in. We appreciate you. All right. Blessings to you.
Take care.
All right.
Good night. Bye.
Good night. All right. We getting ready to wrap up. I mean, I'll talk all night. Yeah, I'll talk all night. But this was good. This was good. Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Hey, Izzy says she loved Breen. Okay. Breen Brown, that's who it is. Oh, okay.
We gotta check that out.
We gotta check that out. That was good.
That was really good, and that kind of brought all of the other things that we've always talked about to the full surface as far as it being a shared responsibility.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So,
hey, you know what? That's what I love about our podcast is that we don't know. We learn.
Yeah.
We don't know everything. Even when we have our marriage retreat, I take away so much. They think that we give them some. I'm taking so much away from our retreaters, man. They just don't understand that will help us go farther even in our marriage, right? Even Nikki calling in and saying, man, that's something we learn from each other. And that's what I love about this podcast.
Yep.
Right? Yep. And I love about you, baby. I love you so much.
You better stop
it. You got them old lashes on now.
Watch out.
Watch out now.
Y'all, he is crazy.
All right, well, we're getting ready to sign off. We want to thank each and every person who called in. We want to thank each and every person who chimed in on the chat. We just give you, we just thank you, because you could have been doing something else on this Monday, but you decided to, just come with us, hang out with us a little bit, and so we're grateful. I am grateful. I want to give all of you all a hand clap.
Just want to say, hey, Dwayne. Hey, TJ.
Hey, all y'all on there, Dwayne, TJ, man, Rob. Thank Rob for being the administrator for the night.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank
Give
you,
him
Rob.
a round of applause.
All right, we know Jordan was on. We, Jordan, Malika. We thank God for both of them, and they're being perfect. I get examples of a young couple, and I love that. Robin's, so we, Samantha, man.
Oh, Harold put some eyes on there one time. Hey, Harold.
Hey, Harold. Hey, well, hey. So we thank God for each and every person who joined. And don't forget to like and share. Don't forget to go on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review. Go to Spotify, go to all those places and just review. It helps us. It really does. It helps us. We don't ask for money. We don't ask for those things. But while it's getting out, it helps us monetize. It helps us, So we just thank God for each and every one. I thank God for you. And, we're getting ready to, just go.
Mm-hmm.
You hungry, baby?
I'm hungry, babe.
I'm hungry too. All right.
A hot dog.
You want a hot dog? You want a hot dog? Why you want a hot dog?
Because I like hot dogs.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all. We'll see y'all in 2 weeks. When is it? Look at the calendar.
Let me
look at the calendar, because you look at the calendar. I want to make sure that we are good.
That we stay on schedule.
That we stay on schedule. So the 18th.
The 18th it is.
18th is going to be our holiday special podcast.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to come in dressed festive. We want y'all to dress in festive.
Okay.
And we're just going to have a good time.
Wear a Santa hat.
I'm going to wear a Santa hat.
Not me.
Oh, come on. We're going to have a good Christmas podcast and share Christmas memories. So we want you to call in and maybe share Christmas memories.
Your favorite Christmas memory.
Yeah, we can put you on camera too. We can do that.
Oh, we can do that?
Yeah, we can send the link out to anybody, say, send me the link, send a link, and they can come and join us and show us their Christmas outfit.
All right.
The ugly sweaters.
No.
No ugly sweaters? All right. Well, it's time to go. We love you all. We give y'all our last
Good night. Thank you for joining us.
If you're hearing this message, you've listened to the entire episode. And for that, we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We hope you enjoyed this new episode. And if you did, please rate and review our show on your favorite podcast channel. Please share this episode with others who may be interested in this topic. And also, feel free to let us know what topics you'd like to see covered in future episodes. Get in touch in the comments or on any social media networks at Marriage in Real Life Podcast. We'll see you in 2 weeks for our next episode.